Hey guys, I'm gonna take another coffee break and I'm going to do my labor and delivery video. Woo-hoo. Uh, and we have somebody watching us today, so Callie is right here, so he might join us in a second. Um, so let's just get right into it before he starts acting up, right? So if you know on my last videos, I have really high-risk pregnancies. I went into labor with Prince at 27 weeks. I went into labor with my first son, DJ, which ended up being a stillborn. I went into labor with him at 24 weeks. Prince ended up making it to full term, 39 weeks, but I was induced for a different reason. But high risk, basically. So this time around with Callie, it was decided early on in my pregnancy that I would be induced at 39 weeks. That was something that we talked about in the beginning. And so by the end of the pregnancy, I started getting non-stress tests just to make sure everything was going okay when it got to that point where I usually go into labor or my water breaks or something of that nature. So I've been doing non-stress tests, and he had he had D cells almost like every day, every time we went, and they couldn't figure out why. So on one of my doctor's appointments, we just went ahead and decided to do my induction. We decided to do my induction at 38 weeks, which would be that following Monday. And so that weekend, I did all the final shopping or whatever I had to do. And then the night before, I took Prince to his babysitter's house, which was my auntie then. And we had to be there at 7 a.m. All right. So we had to be there at 7 a.m. on August 3rd. So, when I got there, they gave me the IV. I did all the paperwork and all of that. I ended up getting the pills. Okay. I ended up getting the pills put in my cervix. It's not Cervidil, but they're just like Cervidil. So I think it's less time, and you have to put more in there. Like you have to put some in there every 4 hours, which Cervidil is kind of different because you leave it one in there for 12 hours. So, that would probably move it a little bit faster. So they ended up putting 2 pills in there, and they were like, oh, you're contracting, but you're really not doing anything. So they decided to put the Foley bulb in me, and with the Foley bulb, they just put a thick balloon inside of your cervix, and they just put a thick balloon inside of your cervix, and they fill it up with water, and basically when you get to it's 2 balloons, one on the inside and then one on the outside, so it could pull on your cervix to make it open and make it contract. So it falls out at 4 centimeters. I was 3 centimeters then. So when they put the Foley bulb in me, that's when my grandma and my mom came. Those ladies are my rock right there. So they helped out a lot because the Foley bulb, it does put a lot of pressure on you down there. It's uncomfortable, to say the least. And it's just really uncomfortable. So, you know, you still have to get up and use the bathroom and things like that. Oh, excuse me. And oh yeah, I got to walk around. I was so excited about that because I didn't get to walk around last time because Prince had to stay on the monitor because he had so many because he was there because he wasn't moved. He was there because he wasn't moving and all that. So I was happy to get to walk this time. And I listened to music the whole time. That really helps me. And I've done that in all 3 of my labors. I've listened to music the whole time. It helps me. Let's see. I ended up sitting in the rocking chair, which I also did when I was in labor with Prince, and I like it. I don't know. I like the motion. You know, it's really helpful. You should try it if you need to. And let's see. Okay, so after all that, the doctor came in and checked me, and she said the bulb was about to come out, so she just kind of stretched the rest of the bulb around my cervix, and it just plopped right out. And then she told me that she wanted to pop my water, and I was trying to explain to her, you know, how I was scared of that because I didn't want to have my water broken too early because I was only 4 centimeters. So I didn't want it to be broken too early because I was scared of getting a C-section. And she was just telling me, reassuring me that since this is not my first child and this is not my first labor, that it would just make everything go quicker. So it wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't have that high of a risk because this is not my first time. But if it was my first, then you would want to wait a little longer. So after that, I got my epidural. He gave me a light epidural. I don't know if you know what that means. It's just a light epidural. Not as many. I don't know. It's not as harsh. And then that's when my dad came. My dad came and my sisters, and I'll be in there in a minute, Prince. My dad and my sisters and my stepmom came, and we just, you know, talked and just, you know, beat time for a while. And then I was still feeling pain, not as in the pain I was feeling was more pressure. It was more pressure than anything. So I called the thing. I don't even know what he's called right now. The guy who does the epidurals. I called him back in there and asked him to turn it up, and he did so. And a little while after that, when I hit around 8 centimeters, I started feeling really, really heavy pressure, really bad. So they came in and set me up and said, that would help move everything down. And I felt so much pressure that I want to push then, but they were, reassured me, you can't do that. So they just set me up, and that was not nice. Oh man. There you go. Okay, sorry guys. Moms, you get it. So when they set me up, they called the doctor to come in, and after they set me up, they left and called the doctor, and then I would say maybe 5 minutes after that, I was like I was so ready to push. Like I was like screaming, like I need to push, and I am going to push. I don't care what you guys say. I am going to push because I have to push. It's something like when they come in there and they say, no, you have to wait for the doctor. They say that, but everything in your body, all your muscles in your body is like trying to push that baby out. So it's hard to like hold back from that. Like you try to keep your legs closed. You kind of try to, I don't know, tense up maybe to keep from pushing that baby out, because your body is telling you to push it out. So the nurse was in there, and she was telling me that if I did end up pushing him out, that she was there to catch him, but wait on the doctor, in case something goes wrong. So I was asking where the doctor was, and my family was also, and she was saying that they had to call the doctor because she was somewhere else in the hospital, and she was somewhere else in the hospital, but she would be there to deliver my baby within 10 minutes. And everybody was just like, and you understand, like, 10 minutes? What? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait 10 minutes. And as we were saying that, she walked in the door. Thank God, because I was so ready. So after that, I started pushing. So I would say during the first push, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law came in, which was really funny. My dad ended up coming in there, and I pushed, I would say 3 times. I think it was exactly 3 times, and like I told you earlier, he had the D cells and all that at the non-stress test, and to come to find out, he had the cord wrapped around his neck twice. So that was the problem, and it was just so like I knew it, because during the non-stress test they gave you ultrasounds also to make sure the fluid is okay, blah blah blah. And we would see the cord like kind of by his neck, but they said it's hard to see because it can be just in front of his face and stuff like that. But yeah, come to find out, it was wrapped around twice, which was so scary. So from me pushing him out, and the pressure of the cord around his neck, he ended up having a popped blood vessel in his eye from all the pressure applied. Everything was still fine though. He was breathing fine. We still got to do skin to skin for an hour. He weighed 7 pounds 4 ounces and was 19.3 inches long. And after skin to skin, we got to go to our room, and thank God we didn't have a roommate. So my husband got to stay with me this time, both nights. So I was extremely happy about that. And yeah, everything was fine. He got his hepatitis shots. He got his blood drawn. He got checked for jaundice. Everything came back fine. So he was just fine. I don't remember how much weight he lost from being born to leaving the hospital. I really don't. I can't recall that right now. But he is exclusively breastfed. And he's just crying right now. But he's pretty healthy. He's great. He's a normal 4-month-old. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye. Thumbs up.